media.
Oh, that's good. The media.
All right. Are you recording?
Yeah, it's been recording. So the media. All right.
All right, media.
So we have the new president, right? And we're talking about how he got elected, why he got elected, and the many reasons things like this happen in modern society. So, considering the media coverage of this from beginning to end, what's your analysis of it particularly? What do you think?
Well, I believe in the media is biased now.
All media is. No.
So, even media like CNN, Fox News, mainstream, or not mainstream, whatever you will call that. The opposite of mainstream. Everything is biased.
Alt media.
Alt media.
Well,
where does the alt media gets their news?
From the mainstream, and then they twist it to.
They don't. Do they do any journalist work?
No.
If they're doing any journalist work, then they don't have time to
journalism. If you think about the journalism, where journalism is actually done, it's still on the print level. They still have local reporters that go to,
and there's no money in that for big corporations.
Exactly, but they're cited by mainstream media, which is crazy because CNN, Fox, they're number 1 and 2. MSNBC, then you have other news networks that all are multi-million-dollar, even billion-dollar businesses. Yet, the only thing they focus money on is personalities and production. They get literally most of their breaking news from affiliates that are in markets. And I'm not sure how much those people get paid,
Because there's no money in that.
Well, no. The money in...
It's all about money.
And I'll give you some...
you got to pay the bills.
I'm going to give Fox some credit. I always give them credit when it comes to breaking news. They're very good at being the first to lead on a story. Every election, they're the first to call it. They always have the best, to me, reporting teams out in the field getting stories.
Because they make the most money between the media. Why? Because their market is not saturated. They're the only right-wing media.
They're not right-wing. They're fair and balanced, I thought.
According to them. Same as CNN. I don't think CNN is fair and balanced. Fair to them.
And you know what the media, and since I have a media background, they're not supposed to be fair and balanced. They're supposed to be objective. So they call, the adage, you call a spade a spade.
How can the news be objective? It's a news.
No. They're supposed to report something. They're not supposed to have an opinion on it.
Well, they all have opinion nowadays.
Okay, but when they look at something objectively, meaning if this can of Coke, like I'm looking at a can of Diet Coke, it's silver and whatever. If somebody goes on TV and says, "This isn't Coke, this is water," and then you pour it out, it's brown and bubbly and fucking leaves a hole in your pants.
That's the alternative
That's Coke.
fact.
No, that's Coke. You know it's Coke, but this is something. But somebody like, and I'm using this to compare to what we have now as our president. This guy, this is what he does. He literally says, "No, this is water." That's what he'll say.
No, this is a Diet Coke. Your new president says it's not Diet Coke.
He says it's
because
water.
It's sweet. It's a regular Coke.
No, he'll say it's water, and the only reason people won't believe him is because is because they don't believe the people saying that it's not water. Because what the problem with mainstream media, Fox included, is that number one, Fox has been 20 years of bullshit. Nobody's ever called them out. They give them press passes to go into the White House, though. They give
used
them
to do that
access.
with CNN.
No, I'm saying, but they give them, when you give these outlets that are supposedly news but not really news access, they become the actual media. And then when you're not limiting Washington Post, New York Post.
Going back to that, your view of Fox News.
It's not my view of Fox News.
Yeah. But what you're reporting about Fox News, this is what I've been realizing lately by watching Fox News and other media.
It's a propaganda network.
No. Most liberals' view of Fox News is what they get from other liberal media, the snippet of Fox News.
No, I watch
you watch Jon Stewart showing a 10-minute clip of or 5-minute clip of Fox News.
So have you
actually
24? Have you ever sat through a whole episode of Hannity, the O'Reilly Report?
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly when she was there. So
there are 80%. So I would say there's 70-30.
70-30 what? What is
70% bullshit.
No, they have the facts right, but their spin on the facts.
Not
this
really.
Is the problem.
Not now. That's a difference in this presidency. It's not even about facts anymore or having the facts. But
can I give you an example of how Fox will spin a fact into their narrative?
How did they change the fact for the inauguration crowd? That
no, they just won't cover it like other people will cover it.
Now you have alternative facts.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, take for instance, a few years ago, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, when the Michael Brown got shot in where was it, St. Louis or Ferguson County in Missouri. The narrative of hands up, my hands are up, and don't shoot me, whatever, came out as part of what protesters used as a slogan, sort of, and then the Black Lives Matter thing came out. So they discredited that whole hands up, don't shoot narrative, right? News media picked it up off of eyewitness accounts. Now, did they retract it? Yes. Everybody retracted the statements except for Fox. Fox never retracted it. They never accepted it, but they used it to paint the picture of demonizing this person for getting killed by a cop. They said, oh, that narrative doesn't exist, so the victim's lying or the witnesses are lying, so there is no problem here.
Because that's what their audience wants to hear.
I know the audience wants to hear, but that's why Fox is bullshit. Because they're not looking at it objectively. What are the facts? The boy got shot in the street by a cop. Did he resist arrest? More than likely, yes. Did he deserve to die? We don't know.
But the problem is that people on their left side, they think people who watch Fox News are 24-hour watching that,
yes,
which is
exactly.
not that.
And same with CNN. My mother watches CNN 24 hours a day.
If you look at any left-wing media,
it's not
shows,
left-wing. It's
or liberal or mainstream.
You can't call it liberal. It's not liberal media.
Well,
there's no liberal. There's only a few.
Mainstream.
Liberal media is alternate
any mainstream.
Media
Any with the exception of
mainstream
Fox.
media.
Yeah.
No, they're all mainstream.
Any corporate.
They're all mainstream.
You know,
Fox is not extreme right either.
It's not. But
they have personalities on there, but they're not extreme right.
So that's what I'm saying. But if you're average, somebody that watches late night shows, any of those, and watches CNN, all you see when they talk about Fox News, they show the extreme side of Fox News. If the people who watch Fox News were 24-hour watching that extreme, they probably wouldn't watch. There's another 50-60% of Fox News who, they show how they're helping the veterans, how they're doing this thing. So it's not 20 yet, and they're feeding their own audience with that extreme too on the side. Mm-hmm. But what I feel like people on the other side of Fox News or mainstream people, their vision of Fox News is that they're 100% 24-hour feeding people now, which is not. You gotta first of all acknowledge that Fox News is not like that. It's 70.
Their most popular shows are that, though.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly is that. Sean Hannity is that. So if you look at ratings wise, Fox and Friends is one thing, but if you go and look at like their popular stuff, it's propaganda. Every bit, and it's just, and if you look at CNN or any of those things, I would say, and I'll give credit to the mainstream media, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, for some objective reporting with a twist that kind of is that a Jewish Star of David? Anyway,
problem with that?
No.
What if I drew a swastika?
You can do whatever you want. You are Muslim.
Not really, but
but if you look at those particular networks, when they get the facts wrong in some cases.
Who? Mainstream?
Mainstream. No, Fox can lie. and nobody will
mainstream
ever.
got all their facts wrong. This election.
No. Well, no, they did not.
They did.
They let falsehoods leak through.
It was a circle of wrong
so when you let
information.
Trump or Kellyanne Conway off the hook and interview them again,
themselves. The entire mainstream media, they were in this bubble. They kept feeding themselves and making everyone believe that Trump lost. There's no way he's gonna win. Hillary won. That's if you looked at the CNN the entire time, Hillary up by 10%. This 10%.
Those are polls.
Yeah, polls.
And the polls were accurate to an extent.
None of the polls were accurate.
No, they were. There is a margin of error, and this is where most people get it wrong. If you talk,
10 points margin of error.
Look, Nate. I listen to Nate Silver's podcast. It's pretty good, and what they were talking.
Right.
He's one of the he's one of these pollsters. I don't know if he's. I think he's not conservative, but whatever. Doesn't matter. He just freaking takes numbers and turns them into magic. So. The margin of error for most of these places that he won by slim margins, mind you, less than 1% in some of these places. Let's see, going into the thing, she was up by 2 points in Michigan, right, or whatever. She lost by 1 point in Michigan, like 1% point. So there's a 2 to 3% margin of error with these polls. The places where she was in a landslide, she won in a landslide. Where she was,
like California,
exactly. But the Electoral College, you can't poll the Electoral College because it's a fucked up system. It says, "Hey, look, North Dakota's vote is worth more than California's vote," which makes no damn sense to me. And again, I'm one of these people. Like I look and if you think about it, I don't think they reported on the election wrong. Everything on paper said she was going to win.
Yeah, and
she did.
A lot of people believe in that.
No,
including
a lot of people didn't because they still voted for that idiot.
Did
that not?
No, I'm talking about the left.
Did you vote? No, I'm not talking about the left. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, I voted.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if you didn't vote or not. The fact of the matter
is,
a
lot of Democrats didn't vote. First of all,
that's fine, but the accuracy
that's
of
one
the polls,
reason.
People saying the polls aren't legitimate. No, they are legitimate. There is a margin of error. They just they've never been this wrong though. The margin of error has never swung.
You're saying they're wrong.
No. It hasn't been. Let me rephrase that. The margin of error has not swung the opposite direction so much. Ever
well, let me tell you, if something has a high margin of error,
the polls have usually been correct.
The whole point is,
but in favor of the other guy. So when they say Obama's going to win,
polling, you need to supposed to get it to a point that you actually believe in a result, and the margin
it's called a poll.
Yeah, the poll is supposed to be that
polls are literally alternative facts.
No, they're not. They have a margin of error, but that margin of error needs to be to a point that it doesn't change the result. It doesn't give you accurate result, but it's supposed to give an idea of what it is.
Okay,
you know?
But so you're saying that the polls influence people's decision making going out.
If the poll says this Diet Coke that I'm drinking is 99% safe, there's a difference between that 99 people dying from drinking this, then that poll is bullshit.
But that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Only 2%
all the polls
people died from that.
The polls says that Trump is losing with the historical numbers.
Yeah. And it was accurate.
And then he won with a
historically low number. No.
So what happened to those
his
polls?
Presidency was the 50 as far as closeness, okay? If you rank closeness from 1 to 10, meaning from 1 to whatever how many presidents we've had, 45 or whatever. This one was ranked as far as like the way he snuck out, I think 46. Oh, not 40. Well, George Washington doesn't count. But out of the out of all the elections that we've had, it's ranked. There's only 2 or 3 that were this close of a margin of error. Like when he says, "Oh, I won in a landslide," just because you won a couple of states that had a lot of electoral college.
He didn't lose the popular vote.
Yeah, he lost the popular vote, which is fine. but he didn't smash an electoral college either. 2 years ago or 4 years ago, Barack Obama smashed an electoral college, not Trump. So if you look at it, and he won the popular vote too. Voter turnout this time around was low.
On Democratic side.
Overall. I'm looking.
No, not on Republican. It was higher.
What do you mean?
More
You mean
Republican
independents?
voted. More people voted for right, which he ran as Republican.
How? Okay, wait. Pause.
So
More
people voted for
that.
for.
So this is where the media.
He got
or this is
more
where-
Republican vote than last year. You can Google that.
Okay, he got
Last
more Republicans to vote.
No,
the
Republican
primaries?
vote. No, at the election.
More Republican votes.
Yeah. I don't care if the Democrat voted for him. He got more votes than Mitt Romney.
Okay, as a Republican.
Well, he ran as a Republican. So on the right side, he got more votes. They can be Democrats voting for him, but he got more votes. And the problem was that Hillary didn't get enough votes.
She didn't
People
swing
didn't-
independents.
Yeah. People
Democrat
didn't-
and Republican don't matter. More people are independent than
But
Democrat and Republican.
Trump didn't get that much more votes than Romney. But the problem was Hillary got a lot of people didn't vote. A lot of Democrats
I
and
understand
independents didn't vote at all.
And that's the core essence
That's
of
the
why
problem.
he won, in my
Yeah.
opinion, because they weren't
But he's
enthusiastic
still-
about that candidate.
He didn't lose the Republican vote. He actually gained even a little bit more, but it wasn't enough. If Hillary
In the
got
general election,
same-
it doesn't matter. A lot of Republicans voted for Gary Johnson. A lot of Democrats voted for Jill Stein. So, I mean, he may have
well,
gotten...
those independent didn't vote
Yeah.
this time,
What do you mean independents didn't vote?
or whoever that voted for Barack Obama.
No, a lot of... Okay, it's not about who came out.
It's numbers,
I
facts.
feel...
You
Yeah.
can't judge it. I mean, that's already the
The
results out
reason
there.
why Hillary lost, again, and this is what I always stress, and this is what I tell Hillary supporters, nobody wanted her to ever be president. I don't care if she's a
Exactly.
woman, mind you, and that's
They
not...
forced it to
They
Democrats.
forced her on the public. They tried to do it in 2008, but Barack Obama was very popular. A man who's Saddam Hussein. His name was that's Saddam Hussein, and he was black, and he beat Hillary Clinton. That's very telling in history. Mind you, we were less racist back then than we are now, and he won twice. He won you lost to the most hated person in America in an election. And it's not your fault. So when I see the news, and this is where the mainstream media...
I actually should add that back then, economy crashed. And imagine voting for somebody who's young.
Who would let
different
a black
race,
man run your...
your
black
economy.
Muslim man running
your-
your economy.
That is a disaster.
Yeah, on the hope and dreams of... It's amazing. Like all faith in... I guess white people back then was out the door. They were like, shit, we need something different. It's going to be black and...
No, and it goes back, nobody wanted Hillary.
Exactly.
If they wanted Hillary, they would have voted
Now, what's wrong
for her 8 years ago.
Now, how does... everybody's talking about how to fix this. How are we going to get rid of Trump? Number one, if the Republicans don't do something about Trump, nothing will get rid of him. He's already lining himself up, and this is to become...
That's why I disagree with you.
How do
The
you
problem
figure?
wasn't that
Enlighten
Trump
me.
was running. I told you, he got vote, he got level,
No,
he
I'm
got the
talking
Republican vote, he became
I'm
the
talking
president
about what-
for next 4 years. The problem is Democrats and independents didn't vote. Why? Because they forced Hillary
Yes.
to
No, they
people.
vote, but it's a lot
they
of...
shouldn't do that anymore. That should be a lesson learned.
If they haven't learned their lesson, to be honest with you.
Well, if
Like,
they
it's
didn't
still-
learn their lesson, they're gonna lose. Like how they lost a lot of seats in the House
And that's squarely on the party. I blame Obama for that. Because, see, Obama is a good
Obama was
manager of people. I always looked at him as a good manager. You know? There's leaders and managers. Obama knows how to manage an organization. He says the right things. He does, he does everything. But his boss are the people, right? he did not know how to make his team appealing to the people. He had the majority at one point. They had the majority, Democrats. But they lost that because there was a louder voice out there. Now on the campaign trail, he was great. He made his points. He's like, yes, da 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 da, putting his whatever the little hand motion he does, and getting people to fucking like cream in their pants over his words. But they were just for him, not for anybody else. When did he, when he endorsed like a candidate? When was he out there endorsing candidates for Senate heavily? When was he calling press conferences to say like, hey, we need to go hard on these Republicans because they're not letting Obamacare pass? They're not. He tried to be very bipartisan. If he played more partisan politics and said, hey, Democrats, let's shift the momentum and give us the power and get our policies pushed through that these people actually want. At that time, so 8 years, we would have taken anything from this man. He could have sold his crack and said it was going to save the economy, and we would have done it. So him not pushing hard enough to get those things through kind of leaves a lot of this mess on his administration or him individually, because he was the strongest mouthpiece the Democrats had. And, the rise of the Tea Party in 2010, the whole shutting, like things like Occupy Wall Street, things like all these things kind of undermined his whole, like legacy, let's call it even. And of course, the pushback from Republicans. The Republicans didn't give him anything that he should have done. And then as a result, this is what happens. And can I say he's a weak leader?
No.
I would say...
I would actually say the opposite. I thought he was a good leader, not a good manager.
Really?
He was very idealistic. His policies were good as a leader. He motivated
managers people. Come up with
managers, they just manage policies. They don't come with ideas. They don't run things. They just manage staff.
He had a good team of people that just created policies just for him, and he decision making wise.
People liked Joe, but everybody around him they liked it. They didn't like the Senate. Those are not his responsibility.
I know, but leaders.
He was a good
general.
Leader,
I don't think so. I really don't. And not to be critical of him in that aspect.
The leader is supposed to inspire you.
Yeah, but he inspired people.
So he's a good leader.
Yeah, but he didn't get things done.
That's up to managers to get from there.
It's about so